So this is the Gloucester Township Emergency Medical Services, but also Inspira Health, who's a private entity. And this building here, there's a little bit of history with this. There's some articles we're going to pull up for this video here that were written by a couple local papers, because there was some controversy around it and how money was being spent, how things were missed when they inspected the building. So we're going to get into some of that stuff here shortly. So actually today here, we are lucky enough to have Denise Coyne with us. If you guys watch our podcast and see a lot of the clips, she's the one that's usually up there asking all these great questions. She's probably one of the most knowledgeable people about things that go on in this town. So I asked her if she could come here and explain to you guys what the controversy is with this particular site. Where does it all start, Denise?
Well, this used to be the Glendora emergency response building for years, and apparently
now that was an in-house, that was the
yes.
township ran, not a public entity,
right? No, I believe it might have been a nonprofit, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyway, they used to operate out of this building, and then somehow things went south with them, and there was some type of an emergency situation at one point where they were no longer operating the ambulances out of this building, and the township was in a spot where they had to find somebody in a hurry, and we ended up with AMR. And then
so AMR was before the sale of this building and
yes.
all that?
And then this building, the township said they were going to purchase because back taxes were owed on it from when the Glendora EMS owned it. So it came in front of council. There was an ordinance or a resolution, one or the other, to purchase this building, and I believe it was for it was a small amount, like maybe $30,000 or $33,000, something like that. So, the township made the case that it would be, fiscally responsible to purchase the building for that amount of money. So council voted yes to approve to purchase the building. So this is now owned by the township of Gloucester, this building. Mm-hmm. And so then the question arose, what were they going to use the building for? And this is going back.
Well, those questions came up after they've started spending quite a bit of money to renovate it, no?
Well, I think it all kind of happened around the same time, what the purpose of the building was going to be and how much it was going to cost to renovate the building. And I remember when it first came up that the township wanted to purchase the building, a lot of residents were asking the question, well, do you actually know what you're buying? Has the building been inspected? Is there asbestos? Is there mold? Are there other issues with the problems with the building that's going to end up costing the taxpayers money?
Right.
And initially, it was, we don't know kind of thing. And then come to find out after they purchased the building, by the way, the building has mold and it needs a new air conditioning system. So then the taxpayers got stuck paying large renovation bills to rehab the building to get it, fit for somebody to operate in it.
And at that time, when they were trying to get it fit for somebody to operate, when we were asking, well, who are we spending this money for?
Correct.
It was brought up that this is going to one of the nonprofits in town, guys.
Right.
Like,
initially,
we're doing this for a good cause.
Yeah. Initially, the township council said that they were going to let one of the township's nonprofits operate from this building.
Right.
And when they were asked, well, which nonprofit, they said, they hadn't really decided. Yeah. They didn't know. And it just seemed like all the questions that the residents were asking, they were coming back with, we don't know answers, which, raised a lot of people's suspicions as far as, what the true intent was for this building. And
right, because in order to get the money approved, they don't need to tell you what is going on for it. As long as they can just keep you at bay of keeping you shut up enough to approve the money, they can still go on with whatever the plan is. They could have a plan and tell you, we don't know who it's going to.
Right,
which
that was
exactly
kind of the
truth,
scenario. That was kind of the scenario.
Yeah.
So anyway, they purchased the building, they rehabilitated the building, and then one of the for sure things that council said that the building was going to be used for was Choose Landing Fire Station wanted to put a piece of equipment in
Yeah,
one
they're
of
going
the
to store a
bays.
truck inside.
Right. So that did happen. There
Yeah, we
actually
see the truck
is
in there, that's
a
there.
fire truck in one of the bays. But I drove by the other day and I was very surprised to see an Inspira Health sign on the building. And so I pulled in and there were ambulances here. So I did some research online and found out that Inspira Health is now operating out of this building, which raised a lot of other questions for me because I routinely go to council meetings and I don't recall an ordinance or a resolution
I don't recall any
that dealt with a lease or some type of operating agreement or interlocal agreement or anything relating to Inspira Health operating out of this building. So
the only things I recall, and I'm sure you recall too, is there was a almost like an emergency. We have to approve this deal with Inspira. I don't remember the exact amounts, but I believe I recall somewhere around $35,000 a month that we had to pay to Inspira in order to have medical services in the town because we didn't have anybody.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But there was nothing to do with where they were located, like where
Well,
they were using a building,
right.
if we're paying anything for it.
Initially, I don't recall if the Inspira deal was an emergency situation. I know the AMR deal was, but I'm not sure about the Inspira. But I do recall.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm sorry.
Right, I do recall that we made a deal with Inspira to offer us services, and that the township would be paying for those services, where in the past the township wasn't paying for ambulance services. But you know, we ended up having to pay for our ambulance services now. And initially, I believe when Inspira came on board, we were told that they were just going to park their ambulances at you know, strategic spots within the township, like the old Kmart parking lot and other places waiting, you know, for calls.
Right.
And but nothing was ever said about them operating out of this building or the building in
so
Ariel.
there's another building over in Ariel, right near the firehouse.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner there, and it has the same sign. It's like, you know, Ariel Medical Services, whatever it says up there.
Inspira
Emergency
Health.
Medical Services, and then it says Inspira Health on it as well.
Yeah, so apparently they're now operating out of this building and also the building in Ariel, which makes me wonder if they're paying rent or if they're operating out of this building rent-free.
Now, just to be clear, we're not against there being ambulances or anything else.
No.
It's the issue here that we're bringing up is the transparency around
how did this happen?
How did we get where we are here? That we're standing here in front of a building with a sign that has Inspira Health, who's a company that we're paying money to have medical services at a building that the taxpayer is paid for, and there's no mention of, are we getting? I don't know. Why do we have to research if we're getting rent from this? Why was it never brought up in a council meeting?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I can't say for sure. I can't say for sure that it wasn't, but I can say for sure that I attend almost every council meeting, and I don't recall
even if you don't attend, you're still looking at
them ever announcing what they were going to use this building for. So, yeah, you know, I don't ever recall them saying for sure, you know, what the use of this building was going to be. We need to move, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, you know, the transparency issues is just kind of strange how, you know, things just seem to happen and you drive by and you're like, oh, look.
Yeah, look what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a lot of residents' questions regarding this building, and you know, a lot of people were interested in what the final outcome was going to be, and
it was never mentioned again. But there apparently is a final outcome, and no one ever just had to stumble upon it, and now here we are.
Right. So you ask questions and you get I don't know answers, and then one day, boom, disappears.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, well, we're going to keep you guys updated on other stuff. There seems to be some activity here pulling up with ambulances and other vehicles. So we'll catch you guys later on. I don't know what I'm so if I edited this out. There's your little reminder that they're always watching us. But it seems to have a problem when we watch them.